my job in Shanghai, I left China in 2012 and came to Canada. My girlfriend and I, we still don't have plan to go back to China, at least up until this year, even though we're still missing the food we have gotten used to eating there. There are a few reasons for that. One is because we wanted to see the world. You know, China is already huge, not only demographically, but also geographically. However, culturally and some other ways, the country is more homogeneous, like other East Asian countries, such as Japan and Korea, than rest of the world. I myself come from a minority background and always appreciated the differences brought by various cultures and think all of them are assets of humanity because they bring different perspective, which always result in innovation and advance in human society. Canada, which is an immigration country that welcomes diversity and difference, is an ideal place for me. The respect for individual differences within and outside an organization in Canada, whether it's a student club or a private company, is amazing, at least within the mainstream. So my pursuit for seeing and being a part of greater diversity was a reason. Two is that when it comes to income and standard living, there's still a big difference between a developing country and a developed one. Although China has been enjoying peace for a long time, on average, there are still 600 million people who earns $151 per month. That's what the Prime Minister said a few months ago. Keep in mind that there are 1.5 billion people in China. I don't know if we counted out children and the retired. Compared to $65,000 GDP per capita, obviously, there's a huge difference. You might say, but things are cheap in China. Really? You try to buy a 4-bedroom detached house with 2 garages for $2 million in Beijing or Shanghai. You can't. You can't buy a standard house for $2 million in Beijing. With that much money, you can only buy a 2-bedroom apartment in these first-tier cities. That's another reason. Number 3 is working hour. Standard working hour per week is 40 hours in America and 37.5 hours in Canada. Here, if one is asked to work over hour, then he or she is compensated in a much higher rate. This is true, except for a few very high-paying jobs, which came with an explicit expectation of working over hour. If a company requires its employees to work over hour without the respective compensation, the labor union, which is separate from government, will strike in front of the company and threaten their business. This balancing force keeps the work-life balance for us in here. On the other hand, in China, 699, which means working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 6 days a week, is very common in China, also in other East Asian countries, especially in the private companies in the largest 20 or 50 cities. Isn't there a labor union in China fighting for workers? That's a very good question. I don't have an answer for that in today's video. So that's another reason. 4 is education. China's primary and secondary school education is great. In China, kids are taught in 3rd grade what America would teach in 6th grades, especially in big cities. However, in China, it's an untold truth that a school is a place of competition where all students' scores are ranked and published. I talked with one of my friend's kids yesterday who just transferred to a Canadian primary school from one in Beijing just a month ago. She said she loves here because there are not much homework to do and kids just play around during breaks. And that is not possible in Beijing where she went to school. Kids are doing homework over the lunch break and over the weekend. There's not much playtime for them. Since I want my kids to be happy and healthy while receiving a proper education, not stressed by meaningless competition, I think I should stay here in Canada. That's the last reason. You might wonder why I don't talk about other more sensitive stuffs. I bet you expected me to talk about them. But I'm a practical person. And what I just talked about are the main reason why I left the country. and I don't want to go back. So thanks for watching and see you next time.